Diamond Squad up. It's your girl, Miss Trey, that Gym, coming to you with an episode of That Gym Corner. This is Miss Trey, that Gym, and you are watching That Gym Corner. So with season 2 kickoff, this is just basically me coming to bring you the green screen commentary. Well, you won't see green screen, you'll see things scrolling behind me. But first things first, I want to get into thank you all so much for all the support for the podcast. I really do appreciate the support you guys are pouring out. It means the world to me that after all these years, you guys still watch, share, like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is that you're doing. So let's talk about the beginning stages of internet radio and then how it became and blossomed into podcast. So basically, for me, I started off on Blog Talk Radio. Ooh, what was that, 2010? I started off then. And it's been, 14 years later? And I can say it's been very rewarding. I went from Let's Talk with Miss Trey, that Gym, to chopping it up with Miss Trey, that Gym. Like, it was always something that I was doing. And I got a chance to interview some great people. That were doing great things at the times, from celebrities to reality TV stars. It was amazing. I even got a chance, I was invited to a movie premiere, where I got a chance to interview the director, Octavio Lopez, who does a lot of different work with different networks and things like that. So I got a chance to meet so many people doing, first things first, doing Blog Talk Radio. Then I would do, like, a little show where I would show some of the behind the scenes stuff, or me, like I did, interviewing him. I've been invited to do host book signings, all types of stuff. And I can say it's rewarding. But then this time, the Diamond Cut, let's go into it. So the Diamond Cut 7 years ago started off as a web series that was before its time. I started it off with Isom Diamonds and myself, as me being the commentator, keeping us, on track. Because, when me and my girl get together, we was clowning, honey. It was a lot of things going on in her life, and let's just be clear, a lot of Christians was coming at her head because she was doing a show with yours truly. So she, at the time, just felt like, taking a backseat to it and really building her own brand and not really worrying about what they had to say anymore. Our friendship, our sisterhood still stayed intact. No hard feelings. It's like you do what you need to do for your particular career. So the Diamond Cut, what I did was I brought it back for a little while. It was just me hosting it. It was just the show. It was a web show. And then I had Coco Janelle come in and host every time. Well, when she had a chance to host with me. After that, it was like, Coco Janelle didn't really have the time. And when I brought it back, I knew I wanted to bring it back with a whole different flair. You know what I'm saying? So when I brought it back, I knew that I would be in, like, the hosted rotator seat. And this is how much I'm telling you, the Diamond Cut, because a lot of people be like, oh, we can't see the Diamond Cut. The Diamond Cut was never about Miss Trey, that Gym. The Diamond Cut was for the culture. It was literally for the culture. It was me talking about hot topics that's going on in the culture, whether it was from church news to now we got cutting it up Latin style to for the culture to love them or cut them, you know, where people get to send us in topics of what we should do, if we should love them or cut them, things like that. So it was basically when it came back, it was still supposed to be that concept. It was Mr. Diamond status in it. Then it was Coco Janelle sitting in the commentator seat. And then that third seat was rotating seat or whatever. We had people like Juvo Bean, Freddie, you know, we had to have our Freddie and Breeze, he came through. We had to have our Latin style in there. We had different people rotating within that seat, including myself. And things had ended up happening, of course, behind the scenes. It's always that, where, you know, the truth and lies was colliding. And, you know, that was an amicable thing where it was like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. And that was fine too. That was okay. So for a while, we did the Diamond Cut Chronicles to kind of keep the Diamond Cut alive with Mr. Diamond status. And then he got to a point where he just wasn't feeling well anymore and didn't want to be in front of the camera. So I knew that the Diamond Cut needed to come back. So I started off season 2 by my lonesome. Just basically talking about the hot topics and also just different things that I saw in the media. I talked about financial well-being, femininity in business, things like that. And I can say it was getting views, people was loving it, things like that. But I knew it was missing that co-host component. So I had that seat rotating. People like Smiley, Sugar Red, formerly known as Ruby Red, Ruby Red, yeah. I had Mr. Diamond status come through. And then one of my business partners and I was talking about things, and I just began to, let me tell you something. Anything in business, when you're doing it, if you cannot talk to self, Yahweh, you got to have that higher conscious that you got to speak with. And I began to speak to Yahweh about it, and just basically told me, like, you know what, focus back on the entertainment part of your business. Get that going. So the scripts that you have dust on, wipe the dust off. Speaking of that, I'm not going to go too much into it until we start filming it. But take the dust off it. Promote the books again. Speaking of that, if you have not gotten your Living the Diamond Life or Empowering the Diamond Within book, what you waiting on, boo? Get it. It's on Amazon. You can even order it off the website as well if you want a signed copy. Oh, and we also have a meet and greet coming up June 2nd at Melanios Cafe, 3930 West School Street. Yeah, so I end up talking to Monty about it, and she was down for the call. She was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And as you can see, the rest is history. This show has been 7 years in the making. Just became a podcast in 2020. New Year's Eve of 2020. And people was chopping it up and living it up. Now it is hitting, it's hitting where it's about to go to the moon. Because I finally got someone that is just as passionate about the business of it all, as well as making sure we give a product to the people that they will truly love. So for that is in itself is phenomenal. Okay, can't ask for more than that. And then the Gem Spot, which is hosted by myself and Dr. Hawk. What it do, baby? First of all, y'all been seeing Dr. Hawk around me, I want to say, since 2012. when it came to, when I first met him, that became my good Judy. When I first met him, it was like we clicked right away. He loved who I was. I loved who he was. I never tried to change him. He never tried to change me. And we just connected. And when I tell you, you see the rest is history there. We just did our 3-year anniversary. You'll get to see some snippets of the behind the scenes within this particular episode. When I tell you, me and Dr. Hawk been doing our thing for 3 years. It's a once-a-month special because he has a very busy life. Not only is he, I think he's like dean of students or a principal, but he's also, he does music as well as, you know, everything other than. And now he's about to be a part of the show that I have coming out, as well as he does the once-a-month podcast with me. So y'all have seen him in the short film, A Diamond in the Rough, as well as episodes of The Diamond in the Rough. So yeah, the Gym Spot is basically a place where what you talk about at your kitchen table, celebrities, education, life experiences, things like that, being brought to you guys on camera as well as a podcast. And I knew that I wanted another podcast, and I knew that he would be perfect for it. As you can see, we've been going 3 years strong. You know, me and him both, we always had good chemistry. If he in a funny mood, I'm laughing. If I'm in a funny mood, he laughing. Y'all see how we roll. We know how to, we got a good, you know what I mean? And by us both talking to the Holy Spirit, it's like, you can't help but to connect and click. And we talk plenty of ish, baby. Yes, we do. We really do. To those who are aspiring podcasters, you may have had to put your idea on the shelf. You may have had to stop it for a while. You may have lost co-hosts. You may have, let me tell you something. If I stopped every time somebody decided not to be a part of something that I was doing, I would not be where I'm at now. That Gym Enterprises will not be where it is now. That Gym Enterprises has been going on 5 years now. I could have threw in the towel so many times. And if you know anything about a cancer, especially a July cancer, we love hard. And it's hard once we cultivate or once we actually teach a person something. It's hard for us to let them go. But I have learned, since I'm going to be honest with you, 2020 taught me to let things go. Just that simple. It taught me how to let things go. It taught me how to stand on my own. It taught me how to embrace my masculine and feminine energy together, working together to get things done. It taught me how to embrace who I am. That's what I got. Like, it taught me just how to embrace it. And if you're out there and you want to do something and you feel like, oh, I won't have the support, listen. God will send, Yahweh will send total strangers to you, to support your brand, to support you. You understand what I'm saying to you? We'll support you. And not only support you, but come help your dream and your vision come more alive than it ever did before. I'm at a place in my life where my dream and my vision is coming alive. And I'm gonna tell you like this: entrepreneurship, running a business, it takes a toll on you sometimes. But you just got to stay strong and you got to keep on going. Because if you believe, because some people got that brick and mortar thing, or they got product, or they whatever. But when your voice is the product, you got to fight harder than you ever fought before to make it happen, because you are the voice. You are the product. I listen to people tell me all the time I can sit and listen to you talk for hours. Well, start watching the podcast. Start listening to the podcast. And if you have not followed me on Spotify yet, this is your time now to follow me on Spotify. We got a giveaway going on that I may have to extend because I see 3 people participated and we need more than that to participate for a giveaway. But I just want to tell you before I roll you into the behind the scene footage of the Gym Spot 3-year anniversary show. I just want to leave you all with this. Every day, you're going to try to figure out how to do something. And in those moments where you're trying to figure it out, lean back and let the Holy Spirit lead and guide you. When I tell you, it is the most rewarding place to be in my life right now, where I'm leaning on the Spirit of God to help me. And a lot of y'all may be like, but you do this, you do that. Listen, if you think Yahweh care about those things when it comes to getting your destiny and opening doors for you that others can't get through, trust and believe he don't care. And that's that. Like, still speak, still love me, still lead me, still guide me. And that's that. So check out some behind the scenes footage of the 3-year anniversary. And welcome to season 2 of That Gym Corner.
All right, all 4 y'all hoes that's here, bitch. I think it's time to talk about that motherfucking Puff Daddy issue.
Oh, yeah.
Dive in. So, first things first, it's a lot of artists that are redacting
Their statements.
About Diddy because Diddy ass ain't shit. Let's just be real. But it's a lot of people who allegedly spoke against him for years. Amber Rose, who dated him, spoke against his ass. She talked about how he was very verbally abusive, and when it got to the physical, she said, fuck that motherfucker, and jumped about that relationship. So for years, people have been speaking on Diddy, but everybody quiet because money said, fuck y'all, that's a billion. And in the black community, I'm about to talk about you, motherfucker.
Talk about the motherfucker.
Can I talk about you?
Talk about.
When we get us a little motherfucker with an M or a B behind their name, we forget that they can be some fucked up individuals. Okay? And so because he became a billionaire, we was like, oh, we gonna hide that Diddy ain't shit. But let's be clear, Diddy wasn't shit in our face. Look at Making the Band. That motherfucker made them artists walk to New York from where the fuck they was, almost New Jersey. Do y'all get me? To get him a slice of cheesecake and told them people, if you get my cheesecake, make sure my shit's still cold. And they walked way to New Jersey for a fucker, or New York, because they was in New Jersey, for some fucking goddamn cheesecake. Okay, so he's been a fucked up individual in front of our face for a long time. And I was a big Diddy fan, but when I saw Making the Band, that changed my whole perspective of that arrogant son of a bitch. But let's be.
What's her name that he did that to?
Cass.
You should have had you a motherfucking butcher knife. You should have had you a fucking butcher knife around that bitch because when I watched how that motherfucker dragged your ass and how you sat your ass there and you didn't kick and it didn't look like I saw that you were used to that shit. And you should have had you a fucking motherfucker. Get you a motherfucking baseball cap or a basketball cap and bring you a butcher knife. You should when that bitch picked up his head, you should have said slice. She should have said slice. Chop that bitch like he a motherfucking piece of sausage. You wanna fucking hit me? Pop! Bitch, you wanna punch me? Pop! And then I'ma get on top of that bitch about the power in this. Bitch, I'm a He-Man that motherfucker. You should have had you a motherfucking butcher knife on. Kill that motherfucker. There are other ways that a lot of people don't like to talk about.
Ooh, talk about it.
And I'm gonna say this winter, although we didn't have a severe winter, but even when we don't, you still will have a high gas bill.
Yep.
Mine was never past $200.
Mine wasn't either. Come on, talk about it.
And
the
I've
most
heard
we got to
people,
was $185.
I've heard people still have $400 and $500 bills.
Yep.
I didn't have it. And it's not because that it was high, it's because although gas is going up, every time I release my money, I say, God, I thank you that I'm able to release money to pay bills because I know you're going to give it back.
This is my favorite thing. I tell anybody. I live in Zamunda. Y'all motherfuckers can be in turmoil and hell and what y'all want to say earth is. I'm in Zamunda. I'm in paradise every day. I'm by my motherfucking self. So what I do, huh?
You just kick me out of Zamunda?
No, you're always in Zamunda, honey. You're welcome in Zamunda. But listen, I'm telling you, I'm always in it. Even when motherfuckers can't catch it, I'm in it, right? I'm gonna tell you like this here. When you suffering, I'm still feeling good. When life going bad, I'm still feeling good. I'm at a place in my life where I have chosen to circulate money, not spend it, but circulate it, that it may come back to me for increased wealth and enjoyment. And I take from the bank of infinite, meaning it's always circulating my way. So when your shit dry up, cause you speaking your shit dry up, my shit ain't drying up.
I know why.
Hello. I say increase wealth and what? Enjoyment.
Because a lot of people want increase, but they don't have no enjoyment and they're miserable.
Say it.
Everybody want to raise, but they don't want to treat themselves. They want to be miserable, sit at home, walk in circles, baby. Treat yourself and live your life. What's the purpose of going to fucking work for?
Come on.
You can't see the fruit of your labor. I couldn't figure out why I stated that, and it brought us to our next topic. Tyrese is in trouble.
Yes, Lord.
Because in the middle of his concert, they came to serve him slow motion.
He didn't tell it.
No, you can shoot a motherfucker slow.
No.
Yeah. Kneecap.
No, because that bullet go through so fast, sometimes his leg will go numb. No.
He got other parts of his body that still feel.
Listen, that's why you need to get a bitch a knife.
Oh.
So that bitch could experience it. Listen, you need to give that bitch a couple of butcher, like you cutting sausage and a fucking chicken loose. Then you need to grab that motherfucking knife by both hands and look that bitch in his eye. And when that bitch make eye contact with you, you go down in slow motion, bitch. Go down, and then let the knife sit in that bitch like that for a little while. Twist that bitch and turn it. Take it back out. Find another motherfucking spot. Look at the bitch and go down again. Now, I can hear y'all say that bitch crazy. He's a psychopath. No, I call it getting people off the earth who should have never been here in the first place.
They mama should have swallowed.
Listen, your mama should have swallowed, honey. Listen, because when you make a garden and you have things that's growing in your garden that you don't want there, the first thing you do, we call them weeds and we pluck them up. Yeah. He's a weed. In a fucking prosperity and garden, and he needs to be plucked the fuck up.
Come on.
But he needs to be plucked the fuck up because sometimes if you pluck up weeds, what happens is they'll grow back. Because they'll go and grow on somebody else. Because we did not terminate the root. Get you a butcher knife.
And chop that motherfucker.
Chop each motherfucking root up in that bitch.
Period.
And he'll be no more.
He'll be no more.
And guess what? Once people found out that women are now crazy, these bitches will stop beating on y'all motherfucking ass.
They'll stop beating your ass. They will. Now, our favorite part of the show before we go